Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. My name's Onos and today I'd like to talk about the transition from your first playthrough into New Game Plus. I'm going to talk you through a number of topics today which will include both the mindset you should adopt for New Game Plus and why I believe that's important. I'll also be covering the steps you need to take straight away so you can get the perfect divine weapon to carry you through your venture into the dream of the strong. I'll be talking about how to get +1 on your weapon as well as how to maximise your damage output with it initially, and how to get inheritable attributes. I feel that a lot of the information out there assumes certain things about people's level of understanding when it comes to Nioh, so I'm going to attempt to dial it back a bit for the newer players and also make it relevant for those who already know a thing or three. If you enjoyed the video, please do me a favour and let me know with either a like or comment. It'll help the channel out in a massive way. At the time of making this video, we're closing in on 1,000 subscribers, which means YouTube allows me more functionality to interact with you guys. That'd be awesome. Okay, let's get into it. Step 1. Actually, wait, no. Before we do that, let's do step 0. If you just completed your first playthrough of the finished game, first of all, congratulations. Awesome, wasn't it? Secondly, pause the video, go to the bathroom, eat something, maybe consider taking a shower. I suspect those things have been secondary to the game for a little while. Pay some attention to your parent, partner, loved ones or kids if you have them. Tell them, Onos says, you're welcome. Right. Now that the health and safety notice has been taken care of, step 1, mindset. New Game Plus is fundamentally different from your first playthrough. Now it becomes more about making yourself more powerful, optimizing your build. It's even more important now than it was before, and in order to do that, you need to learn about doing things efficiently with your end goal in mind. The end goal, in case you're wondering, is to be more powerful than Beelzebub's BO. So in the first couple of levels of New Game Plus, you probably won't notice much of a difference in the difficulty, but the game begins to ramp up again as you progress. Bear that in mind. In order to make the most of your time, your mindset should become less about completing every level perfectly and killing everything on the map, and more about getting to the end as quickly as you can. You don't need to be hunting for Kodama or half as many secrets this time around, which means that instead of investigating every little nook and cranny, you should treat it more like a race to the finish if you can. Don't get me wrong, you can play every single level, kill every single yokai if you really want to. You play how you want, but just be aware that you may begin to feel some frustration as the enemies get more powerful and you feel like you're being left behind. In order to get the best gear for your build, find the hidden skills, find all the crafting and smithing techs so that you're self-sufficient rather than being reliant on the RNG demons to give you what you want. You need to be getting through the missions quickly so you can get to the good stuff. Okay, so why the hurry? Glad you asked. I will just get into that. In order to create the perfect build, it's going to take a number of things to achieve. You'll need plenty of gold, you'll need smithing techs, soul cores, crafting materials. Getting those things is now your new priority. Relying on weapons and armor drops from enemies will leave you hugely disappointed in the long run. You'll need to make your way through the zones again to open everything up for a start. Then you'll need to find the bosses and enemies who are going to give you what you want. You want to be as powerful as you can be to make those boss kills and mission completions quick and efficient. You'll be spending much more time with the Blacksmith too, trying to perfect your build, so get comfy. With regard to smithing tech specifically, there's a very good reason you want those instead of just the loot you find on the ground. I'll come to that shortly. Okay, so that's the why. Now we'll talk about the how. How do you make your initial progress quicker? You need damage. So I'm going to show you how to craft the perfect weapon to give you an initial boost. Bear in mind that the same principles can be applied to an extent to your armor too, but for now we're going to focus on the weapon. First things first, don't change anything with your build just yet. Clear your bags, sell and dismantle anything you don't want, then go into New Game Plus, go to the first mission, and murder some revenants. That's right, spend some time at the shrine and just kill every revenant you can get your hands on. When you've killed them all, rest at the shrine, then do it again. You'll notice there are loads of revenants right near the water's edge. This is because some kind folk have jumped to their deaths deliberately so that you can have a chance to get the gear when you kill their revenant. Chances are they have some particularly good weapons and armor, and now you have a shot at getting it. The gear you're looking for is green, divine gear. Be on the lookout for the following things: basic inheritables, the white symbol, and more advanced inheritables, the orange symbol. If you're lucky enough to pick up anything which says +1 on it, keep that too. The reason you want these is that you can transfer them over to your own gear as long as it matches the quality. Anything that isn't exactly the gear you're looking for or doesn't have any of those things on it will be getting dismantled at the blacksmith for parts. You want to be getting divine fragments so you can build your own gear shortly. When your bags are full, you'll be heading back to the blacksmith. Make sure to level up your character before you use the divine branch fragment to go back to the blacksmith, otherwise you'll lose all your Amrita. So back at the blacksmith, put on any basic upgrades you want to keep for the time being. Next we're going to get you a weapon. Hopefully you've come across some Inheritables you're interested in. Make sure to keep those pieces, maybe even lock them now to play safe. You want to dismantle all the green gear you've accumulated that you don't want to keep. This will give you divine fragments which you can use to create your own weapon. Dismantle and sell anything else you've accumulated, depending on what you need more, materials or gold. So next I'll show you how to craft a divine weapon of your own. Don't craft yet though. There are a couple of points in a moment you might want to check before you actually go through these steps. What you're looking for is a clean weapon, and what I mean by this is a divine weapon you want to build on. Ideally, it won't have any white inheritables on it already. If it does, then you're stuck with it. What's better is if you have a clean slate, a divine weapon without any inheritables on it, so that you can transfer over what you want and build out the stats. You ideally need at least 10 divine fragments. This will give you the best chance of getting a divine weapon on your first try. It's not a guarantee though, so ideally you'll have more. When you've selected the weapon you want to craft and go to the forge button, you'll now have the option to add divine fragments into the mix before you forge it. Press triangle when you're on the forge button, but before you press the forge. You'll be asked how many divine fragments to add. 10 is the maximum, and this will give you an 86% chance to get a divine. There is also a chance it will come out as a +1 weapon or higher. You can improve your odds of this by speaking to Muramasa and spending some of your patronage points with him. You want to increase your upper and lower limits for the forged items. This will give you a higher chance to get weapons with a +1 on them when you forge. If you haven't got any patronage points right now, don't worry too much. You will in the future. You can still go ahead and craft for now. We'll get a +1 on it anyway. So now you've got a new divine weapon. Next step is to soul match it. Assuming you manage to pick up another green weapon with an orange inheritable stat on it, you can now transfer that stat over to your new weapon. You can also do this multiple times and fill up the empty slots on your weapon stat. What's more is the stat itself isn't even important. Once you've transferred it, you can change it using the tempering system, but we'll get to that. In order to be able to soul match the orange stat across, the weapon you're using as the material, i.e. the one you're going to trash, needs to be maximum familiarity. Otherwise the new stat will not appear in the preview. Your best bet is to equip the material weapon and use a whetstone to max out the familiarity. Next, you can soul match and the new stat will appear on your weapon. Now we want to boost the base damage on your new weapon. The next step is to soul match again, this time with a weapon of the same quality, i.e. divine, which already has a +1 on it. This will transfer over the +1 to your weapon and boost its damage. The next step is to give you another damage boost for the weapon. You should have the option in the main blacksmithing menu to remodel your weapon. This is why we wanted the +1, because you can't do this to any weapon unless it has at least +1 on it. Go to the remodel option and flick through the 4 options. The specialization system will allow you to preview the damage of your weapon by changing its primary damage scaling option against the different core stats. Basically, just scroll through and find the one with the most damage output. You should see the numbers go up when you find the right one. Next, tempering. Now, you might want to come back to this step later. Basically, you can change the attributes on your weapon to be more to your liking, but what you're offered is random. Each time you change a stat, the list will update with new options, but you'll burn through gold pretty quickly doing this process. Initially, you'll only be offered the option to pick from 3 stats, based on using standard Umbracite. The better stats can show up on this list, but it's much more likely you'll find what you're looking for if you open up the options. In order to do that, you need to collect quality Umbracite from Twilight missions. This will open up the second tier of options. You also want to pick up Fabled Umbracite and make sure to use them sparingly. You will get these as a reward for some of the New Game Plus missions. I believe it's also possible to get them from random encounters too if you're lucky, but I can't confirm that myself as I haven't had it happen yet. If you want to see a list of all your tempering options, I made a video for that too, so check it out. I'll leave a link at the end of the video. Anyways, the weapon you now have should be much better than what you had before. You should be in a position to go stomp on the first few missions easily with your boosted damage output. You can always go and get this done quickly, then come back to temper again later when you have some of the Umbracite you need and more gold. I really hope this helps, guys. If you have any questions or something you feel I've missed or made unclear, please leave me a comment below. I'll do my best to help. And if I don't know the answer, then I'm fairly certain one of my subs will. The majority of the regular commenters seem to really know their stuff. If you've made it this far, please do me a favour and hit the like button before you go. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll wrap it up there. Thanks again for joining me. I appreciate your time. See you again for the next one. Stay safe, guys. Bye bye now.